Former Prime Minister of France, Edouard Balladur, is currently facing trial for siphoning off funds from the sale of submarines to Pakistan in the 1990s. The Agosta submarine deal is one of the most famous cases of corruption in Pakistan's history. It involved Benazir Bhutto, Asif Ali Zardari, and then Chief of Naval Staff Admiral Mansoor al-Haq. What is less known, however, is the connection between the Agosta submarine deal to the French presidential election of 1995 and Karachi's first suicide bombing in 2002. How are all of these events connected? Soch explains the Karachi Affair. On 8th May 2002, a massive suicide car bomb targeted French engineers staying at Karachi's Sheraton Hotel, killing 11 Frenchmen and 3 Pakistanis. It also led to the New Zealand cricket team, which was staying at the Pearl Continental across the street, to abandon its tour of the country, thereby precipitating Pakistan's decline as a venue for international cricket. At the time, the attack was presumed to be the work of Al-Qaeda-linked militants. But by 2010, the French magistrate investigating the case, Judge Marc Trevedic, definitively ruled out that explanation. Instead, the magistrate argued that the bombing may have been retribution for the non-payment of kickbacks promised to Pakistani intermediaries in a deal to supply Agosta submarines to Pakistan in the 1990s. So, what was this deal all about? In 1994, the French contractor DCN, majority owned by the French government, signed a €826 million deal with Benazir Bhutto's government to supply Agosta submarines to the Pakistan Navy. The deal also included a 6.25% commission, about €52 million, for intermediaries that had helped arrange the deal. According to testimony given in the French Parliament by DCN's former international director Emmanuel Ari, the bribes took care of everyone, from low-ranking officers to the head of the Naval General Staff, the Minister of Finance, as well as Madame Bhutto's entourage. Henri Gutter, the former Director General of SOFMA, the state body overseeing the deal, elaborated further to a French magistrate that 4% of the commission, or about €33 million, was for Zardari Bhutto, 1% due at the signing of the contract, 1% a year later, and 2% paid in installments over time along with the contract payments. Of these payments, at least €7 million were traced to offshore bank accounts in the British Virgin Islands. Details of these transactions were found in Ehtisab Bureau documents seized by the French police during a 2010 raid on Zardari's acquaintance Amer Lodi's house in France. For his part, Asif Ali Zardari has denied all corruption allegations. But within the military, 2 were court-martialed over the affair. And the Chief of Naval Staff at the time, Admiral Mansoor al-Haq, was stripped of his rank after pleading guilty to corruption in an accountability court. However, Commodore Ashraf's statements and documents obtained by the news reveal that tens of other naval officials that allegedly received kickbacks faced no action at all. But what did any of this have to do with the 2002 suicide bombing? Back when the Agosta submarines were sold to Pakistan, it was perfectly legal in France to pay commissions to foreign public officials, either directly or through intermediaries. In fact, the practice was not banned in France until the year 2000, when France ratified the Convention on Combating Bribery of Foreign Public Officials in International Business Transactions. What was illegal, however, was the practice of sending the money paid out as bribes back to France. In 1995, Jacques Chirac won the French presidency. In 1996, he halted payments of all outstanding commissions on previous deals, including the submarine contract signed by previous Prime Minister Edouard Balladur, partly because Chirac suspected that Balladur had used complex financial routes to return some of the commission payments made to Pakistani officials back to France in order to fund his political campaign against Chirac. The 2002 bombing took place a mere 3 days after Chirac's re-election, resulting in a final halt to any outstanding commission payments. Just hours after the bombing, the French External Intelligence Agency, DGSE, noted in a private document that the attack against French nationals at Karachi does not bear the hallmarks of an operation mounted by Al-Qaeda. Their director of intelligence, Alain Chouet, later elaborated in an interview, "Rather, we were more likely dealing with the work of professionals in clandestine actions. All of this led us to look in the direction of a state service rather than Islamist militants." A private intelligence document commissioned from a former French intelligence agent, Claude Thévenet, by DCN itself in 2002 went even further, claiming that the Karachi attack was carried out thanks to complicity within the army and the Islamist guerrillas within the ISI. It was a question of obtaining the payment of unpaid commissions. Known as the Nautilus Report, this document was hidden from the magistrates overseeing the case until 2008, when investigative news media website Mediapart finally revealed its existence. According to Mediapart, which reviewed the documents, the Nautilus reports attributed the attacks to a rogue wing of the ISI, which President Musharraf had severed ties with only 4 months before the bombing. Initial suspicions of the attack fell on Al-Qaeda, and in 2003, Pakistan even sentenced to death 3 terrorists for carrying out the attack, although all 3 were quietly acquitted in 2009 due to lack of evidence. And as recently as October 2019, France's internal intelligence agency DGSI said that a militant attack still remained the most likely scenario. The trial against Balladur, now aged 90, and his defense minister François Léotard for retro commissions finally began this October in the Court of Justice of the Republic, a special court for trying high government officials for crimes committed in office. Separately, the trial of 6 others involved in the affair, 3 politicians, 2 intermediaries, and a retired naval company boss, is taking place in a Paris court. Concurrently, there's also an ongoing investigation into the killings that took place on 8 May 2002. And while 3 Agosta 90B submarines are currently commissioned in the Pakistan Navy, its reluctance to investigate the case, combined with the French government consistently citing national security to justify withholding documents from their own judiciary, is perhaps the strongest indication that there remains much more to the story.